sick and tired, living in a town filled with narrow minds and hate. They used to laugh at me, their children called me names. I would run and hide, feeling so ashamed just for being born. I was just a boy.
Hello. Thank you so much for tuning in to A Spoonful of Comfort. I'm Claude Jackson, and this is supposed to be a comfort show. I don't think there's enough comfort in the world and not enough of us comforting each other. But today, the show is probably going to be a discomfort show because I'm going to introduce you to my son who has autism. And I'll explain to you after the break why I'm introducing you to him. His name is Purvis Jackson Jr. We call him PJ, and we are joined by his sister Stephanie. And Stephanie and PJ may sing. He doesn't talk, but sometimes he sings. So we're going to see if he'll do a little singing. Okay? Go ahead.
Well, at his school for specials, Berger in Garden City, they taught some signing, and we learned a couple of wonderful songs. So come on, PJ, are you going to sing? And I never thought, we practiced it earlier, never thought I'd feel this way. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm glad I got the chance to say that I do believe I love you. And if I should ever go away, well then close your eyes and try to feel the way we do today. Oh, and if you can remember, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me for sure. That's what friends are for. In good times and bad times, oh, you'll be by your side forevermore. Whoa, whoa, that's what friends are for. Just a portion of the song, and I have forgotten quite a few of the hand signals, but
Thank you so much from our studio audience. We really appreciate the support and the encouragement. And I have children and grandchildren here today who are helping me accomplish the feat of my discomfort of having PJ on the show. But they have helped me all along. My children have helped me all along, and my grandchildren have helped me. And those of us that have a children with a handicap, we always need someone to help us, which is the basis for the Purvis Foundation, to help the parents who might not have help. The Purvis Foundation was founded in '09 when Purvis Jackson Sr. passed, and it is his legacy to try to help handicapped children. We don't just help people with autism, we help all handicaps. But I'm going to take a break shortly, and after the break I will explain to you the reason that I have PJ on the show today. There is a method behind having someone who can't talk on a talk show, so I will explain to you why we're doing that. And I also want you to remember that the best place to find a helping hand, you know where that is? At the end of your arm. So those of you who are out there who are helpers, just remember that. And those of you who aren't helpers, remember, you can help. You have a hand at the end of your arm, so that's the best place to find a helping hand. And I've also said that you don't have to form a foundation or write a book to help parents of children with handicaps. You can fix dinner for them once a month, or take them to the park during the summer, or Give them some kind of assistance. And if you don't want to assist them, then you'll know exactly how difficult it is for them to deal with having a special needs child. So this is a spoonful of comfort. Like I said today, it was a spoonful of discomfort because even my topic today is somewhat discomforting to me. But I would feel remiss if I was doing a show that I didn't address it. So we're taking a break. Thanks for, I hope I can thank you for staying with us. And we'll be back shortly, and I'll explain my reason for having a person who can't talk on a talk show. Thanks for tuning in to A Spoonful of Comfort. We'll be right back. Welcome back to A Spoonful of Comfort. I'm Claude Jackson, your host, and I'm the author of Inspired by Autism. If you hear any background noises, it's my son, Purvis Jackson, who's still here. But the reason I had PJ on today is because there are more people being diagnosed with autism than ever before, and there are more of them that will be in the community. And when I said this show is about my discomfort, one of my discomforts is about PJ being in the community and police not understanding who he is or what his problems are. So having him on, I want people to know who he is because he can't talk. He might not follow police instructions. So I have no idea of what would happen with him if he were in the community. I wanted to talk about the football players who are taking the knee during the national anthem. I understand why. They're trying to protect people like my son, because in a situation with the police, my son might not raise his hands. He might not halt if they tell him to halt. He won't understand. And they are trying to protect people like my son from police violence or police mistakes. But then yesterday I got another version of the men that are taking the knee during the national anthem. I understand why they do it and I appreciate them for it. But the version I got yesterday was that it shows disunity in our country, that when they're disrespecting, as these folks feel that they're disrespecting the flag, that it's disunity in the country. I agree. I can see both sides of it. But the disunity doesn't bother me because I don't want people to think that everybody in our country is unified when you consider what our leaders are doing and some of the things that are going on in the country. So there are 2 points of view about the football players taking the knee. You know, Dr. Phil said no matter how flat a pancake is, it has 2 sides. So I understand the one side because I feel like they're trying to protect people like my son. I understand the other side about the disunity in the country. But like I say, I'm not afraid to show disunity in the country because of our, I was going to say leadership, or should I say lack of. I want to say thanks to Holly Robinson Peete, because she is the one that inspired this show. I don't know if you know Holly Robinson Peete. She's an actress. Her husband, Rodney Peete, was a football player, and they have a son who is handicapped by autism. Now, their son, RJ, is far more capable than my son, PJ. My son, PJ, is on the lower end of the autism spectrum. RJ is on the higher end of the autism spectrum. But Holly and her husband, they have a TV show, a reality show. And on her reality show, she talked about her concerns about her son and the police, because even though he's high functioning, she has those same concerns. RJ is far more high functioning than my son, PJ. Holly Robinson Peete is far more advanced in her influence and power than I am. But I am doing whatever I can from the level that I'm at, which is not as elevated as her level. But we need people to work for our people on every level. Now, she had a role playing on her show where she role played RJ and the police. So he was able to practice how he would act if the police stopped him. Well, my son, we're not able to role play with him. He would not understand how to role play, and that this is pretend and that this is real. So him being on the street is a real concern of mine. And you might say that nothing like that happens in Detroit, but it has happened in Detroit. Also, my son is very protected. I take care of him, although I'm not as vigilant as I used to be. But he's with someone all the time unless he walks out of the house. And that has happened. And it happened with me. He was with me. He walked out of the house, and the police were called on him. And that could have been a disastrous situation. But he came back home. He was walking, and the reason the lady called the police on him is because he was in his pajamas and no shoes, and it was in the morning. And she started trying to talk to him, and he did not respond. So since she was talking to him and following him in her car, she called the police to report this. Well, PJ decided to come home since someone was talking to him and following him. He came home, and he came in the side door while she rang my bell. And she was on the phone, and I thought, well, why would she ring my bell while she's on the phone? She was talking to the police to cancel the call, to say that he had returned home. And I thought it could have been so much worse, because PJ would not have followed police instructions. He would not have done what they asked him to do. And I would feel remiss if I were doing a TV show and I did not mention my concern, and not just my concern, since there are so many more people with autism, that the concern of all of us parents, especially of our black people with autism. I don't know if you saw the video of the white officer who had stopped a white lady, and she said she was scared that the police might shoot her. And this officer said, "We only shoot black people." Well, that struck fear in my heart. And he said it was just a joke and it wasn't for real and all that. But being the parent of an intimidating looking young black man, it struck fear in my heart. So I talked to our police commissioner, Ricardo Moore, and I explained my concerns about it. He assured me that the Detroit Police Department has treatment and training for dealing with mentally impaired people. And hopefully that's true. Now, Holly Robinson Peete had an actual workshop with the police, and they learned about dealing with people with mental impairments. So talking to Ricardo Moore, he even sent me some information about how the police do training for people such as my son. And I thank him for that, and I thank the Detroit Police Department, because I know that you have a hard job and I know that you do your best, but I do want you to be aware of people such as Purvis Jr. I also want to have, if not Police Commissioner Moore, someone else from the police department on to discuss working in the Detroit community with all the different personalities that they have to deal with, to be aware of people such as my son. I'm going to take a short break, and when I come back, we're going to lighten the mood. My daughter will sing, and my daughter's going to sing, and I'm going to have some few more closing comments for you. So I'll be taking a break in a minute, and I thank you for tuning in to A Spoonful of Comfort. I am the author of Inspired by Autism. I want you to know that you can purchase the book here at WHPR. You can also get it on Amazon. If you want to contact me, my email is Jackson Claudreen, Claudreen, at sbcglobal.net. And you can email me at any time. Also, you can contact me at the post office box 04422, Detroit 48204. I'm going to take a short break now, and we'll be back in a minute, but thank you so much for tuning in and listening to my Tale of Woe.
When I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known.
I was sick and tired, living in a town filled with narrow minds and hate.
They used to laugh at me, their children called me names. I would run and hide, feeling so ashamed
Just for being born, I was just a boy, punished for a crime that was not mine. Life ain't so easy when you're a ghetto child. Oh baby, life ain't so easy when you're a ghetto child. No one tried to understand. Papa did the best a man could do.
A child's reality is paid for by his folks' fancy fairy tale, or bought and sold by those
Who can well afford time to make believe? Childhood dreams can still come true.
Welcome back to A Spoonful of Comfort. Thank you so much for sticking with us. And I hope that you tune in again next Tuesday at 1:30 to see A Spoonful of Comfort. Like I said, today was my discomfort show because I was talking about a subject that is very important to me, but I'm not very comfortable with. So I want to introduce you. You just met my daughter Stephanie. Stephanie's joining us now, and she's going to favor us with song.
Since you know music has been such a big part of our life with the Spinners, and Mother, you mentioned that I had surgery, and so after that I did start composing, and I started performing on a big scale, and Dad encouraged that. But my original song I did, it's a disco, a dance, not disco, hustle song, and I just want people to think as we're having fun. So the song goes like this. Hut, 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 hut. Open your mind, open your eyes. See what is real, not what you feel. Your body's wired by powers higher. See Mother Nature, think the Creator. Unending pleasure, no way to measure. Think consequences, hold your defenses. Check your reactions, no going back on. Think of tomorrow, don't feel with sorrow. It's hard, so hard to do, but you're depending on you. Take time, make time work for you. The clock controls our next move. Do you hear it? We need more Though power strong to exist, devote your life to resist. We control what we do. We all control our next move. Can't you hear it? You've got the time. So take the time. Open your mind. You've got the time as we hustle.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Stephanie did not take singing from me because I cannot sing at all. In fact, Purvis was always pushing me to write. There would not have been a book if Purvis hadn't pushed me to write, because we used to write songs together. But someone told me that the reason Purvis was always pushing me to write was to keep me from singing. So I don't believe that. He really
It's because you're a
encouraged
good
my-
communicator.
he constantly encouraged my writing. Before I go, I'll be leaving shortly, but I wanted to mention the 20 Grand reunion again. I have not heard through the TV about whether anybody's interested in the 20 Grand reunion, but I have heard it from other people who are interested. And I'm hearing 20 Grand stories about people that met at the 20 Grand, and some folks, a couple of people celebrated their 50-year anniversary who met at the 20 Grand. So the 20 Grand reunion has not been planned yet because I'm trying to see if it's worth planning, if there's going to be enough response. But those of us who used to frequent the 20 Grand and used to work at the 20 Grand, there are still a lot of us around. So hopefully you'll be able to join us. And tune in again next week for A Spoonful of Comfort. Remember, Inspired by Autism can be bought here at WHPR in Highland Park. And if you come on Tuesday at 2, I will sign it for you. Until next time, God bless you, and I will see you next week.
When I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known.
I was sick and tired, living in a town filled with narrow minds and hate.
They used to laugh at me, their children called